On November 22, 1963, a president was murdered in front of his wife in broad daylight. 60 years and millions of declassified documents later, the full truth is still being uncovered. As you delve into the archives, you'll find that the FBI's Dallas office had received a warning on November 2, 1963, about a potential threat to the president's life, which raises the question, what would have happened if this warning had been taken more seriously? In the months leading up to the assassination, President John F. Kennedy had been facing increasing tensions with Cuba, having imposed a trade embargo on October 19, 1960, and subsequently authorizing the failed Bay of Pigs invasion on April 17, 1961. The CIA had also been monitoring Lee Harvey Oswald, who had defected to the Soviet Union on October 31, 1959, and had returned to the United States on June 13, 1962, after becoming disillusioned with the Soviet system. As you examine the events surrounding the assassination, you may wonder, what role did Oswald's connections to Cuba and the Soviet Union play in the events that unfolded? On September 26, 1963, Oswald had traveled to Mexico City, where he met with Cuban and Soviet diplomats, further solidifying his ties to these nations. The day of the assassination began with a motorcade through Dallas, which had been planned since September 26, 1963, with a route that would take the president's limousine through Dealey Plaza. At 12:30 p.m. on November 22, 1963, the motorcade turned onto Elm Street, where Oswald, who was stationed on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository building, fired multiple shots from a Mannlicher Carcano rifle, striking the president and Texas Governor John Connally. The Warren Commission, established by President Lyndon B. Johnson on November 29, 1963, would later conclude that Oswald acted alone, but the Commission's single-bullet theory, which posits that one bullet caused multiple non-fatal injuries to Kennedy and Connally, remains contested by forensic experts, such as Dr. Cyril Wecht, who has argued that the bullet's trajectory is inconsistent with the Commission's findings. As you consider the evidence, you might ask, can a single bullet really account for the injuries sustained by both men? The CIA's own documents, declassified in 2017 and 2023, reveal that the agency had been monitoring Oswald's activities and had even considered recruiting him as an asset, which raises further questions about the agency's involvement in the events leading up to the assassination. In the aftermath of the assassination, the Warren Commission's report, published on September 24, 1964, would become the official narrative of the events, but it would also be widely criticized for its methodology and conclusions. The Commission's findings led to a significant increase in conspiracy theories, with many believing that there was a larger plot involved, and the declassified files have only added fuel to these speculations. As you examine the evidence, you may wonder, what would have happened if the Warren Commission had been more transparent in its investigation? The declassified files have also shed light on the role of Jack Ruby, who shot and killed Oswald on November 24, 1963, while in police custody, and the fact that Ruby had ties to organized crime and the CIA, which has led some to speculate about the motives behind his actions. As you reflect on the events surrounding the JFK assassination, you are left with a haunting question: what secrets did Jack Ruby take to his grave, and how might they have changed our understanding of this pivotal moment in history?